Hello and welcome to Super Switch Headz, the premier Nintendo podcast in all of the internet. I am Patrick Knisley.
I am Matthew Stoner.
And my name is David Howe.
And it's just us three. No guest.
No guest.
And you know why?
Oh, please say.
Because we are talking about the much anticipated game, Little Town Hero. We've been talking about this game since we first started doing the podcast.
Pretty much. I think it was like episode 1.
Yeah, episode 1.
It got announced in the February Direct that we covered pretty early on when we first started. That's where it got announced. And we've been, especially Matt, has been super excited for this. We've been waiting for this day.
Every time anyone has ever said the word town, even if they were just like, oh, you know, it's in another town over, Matt's ears just go, like
Town?
The game? Dog. And you just get really excited about it.
Yeah, I made a joke initially because I thought it would like disappear. Like they announce it in a Direct and then...
And we didn't hear anything.
We didn't hear anything for a long time.
Until the September Direct.
Yeah.
And then it got announced for October.
Well, we'll be getting into this a little later in the episode.
And it's October, and it's here, and we will talk about it.
It is indeed here.
Is it Game of the Year? Is it Dud of My Life? You'll have to listen to find out.
We're also going to be talking about some controversial things that have been happening in Nintendo, in the Nintendo world. We're going to be talking about a new Tetris Maximus Cup. I'm sure we'll talk about that a lot. Mm-hmm. We're going to talk about a couple of Smash Ultimate things, and also about some Sword and Shield Pokemon that are returning.
That's right.
We now have some semblance of ideas about that. So we'll get into it. I mean, unless there's anything else going on. Do you guys have anything exciting?
Well, I do want to say this is. I want to give a thank you to our loyal listeners of the show. This is our official season finale of Super Switch Headz Season 1. I think, right?
Season 1 town.
Is that what we're calling it? Yeah. The first season is the town season. And then I don't know what next season will entail.
We don't know yet.
It's going to happen naturally. It has to happen organically.
Okay, I was going to offer ideas, but let's just have it.
Okay, well, give us one idea. Give us one idea.
F-Zero.
That might be a long season.
That will be a very long. That'll be a 3-year long season. We're going to go out with a bang. We're talking about a much anticipated game here on the show today. And then next week we're taking a week off, but we're gonna have something special for you in the meantime. So thank you for listening, everybody. We love you very much.
Yeah. So let's get into the news then.
Well, first, did you guys see that Star Wars trailer?
I haven't watched it. I did order tickets, but I haven't watched.
You haven't watched the trailer? Are
No.
you like not watching it on purpose?
I am.
Yeah.
I'm one of those people.
So you haven't watched it either.
I'm not normally one of those people. I love the hype of the trailer, but I haven't watched.
Well, Patrick, don't worry. They show I have no idea what this movie is about.
I really have a problem with because modern trailers show so much.
Yeah.
That I've stopped watching trailers for movies I know I want to see.
Yeah.
If I can, but once you go to a movie, then I'm like, unless I'm going to close my eyes and like hold my ears shut, you know what I mean?
I do that sometimes.
Yeah, there you go. I've done it before.
I think the golden age of trailers spoiling the entire movie was like the late 80s. I was like watching some like 80s trailers recently, and I was like,
it's not a new phenomenon.
No, yeah, absolutely
but
not.
It does seem egregious now because trailers are so long.
Yeah, I think the main egregious thing with trailers these days is cutting everything to the music. It'll be like punches will be on like the beat, and I think that's so fucking dumb.
Cool.
Anyway, that's just something that's going on in our lives.
First thing I wanted to put on here, or David, you wanted to add this on, is that Analog, which is a company that makes hardware for old video game systems, including stuff like Super Nintendo and Sega and stuff like that. If you had a bunch of cartridges but wanted a more efficient hardware, you could buy their stuff. They've announced an Analog Pocket, which, as I understand, can play all the different kinds of Game Boy games. Like you can fit all the different cartridges into this one little handheld device.
Yeah. Well, they've done. I think their biggest thing they did before was called the Super NT, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe that's what's
and
called.
That would play Super Nintendo games. They also have like a Sega variant, or maybe you could even play both in one. But the main thing about it is that it hooks up seamlessly to HDMI's, right? So it's like it's not software emulation. It's like hardware to play your classic retro games.
And I think you can have wireless controllers with them and stuff like that.
Exactly. And so this Analog Pocket that's coming out is basically like the ultimate version of the Game Boy, and it'll play. It's got like a ridiculously high like pixel count screen.
Nice.
It's like 1440p or something ridiculous, like for Game Boy games. So it's just gonna be really, really crisp, and it plays natively original Game Boy games, Game Boy Color games, and Game Boy Advance games. And then there are going to be like little adapters that you can plug into the back that will then play Game Gear or Atari Lynx or like
Neo Geo Pocket
Neo Geo
Color.
Pocket, I
all
think
the
Wonder
other
Swan.
old
yeah.
handhelds.
So it's basically like like if you are a retro game collector and you still have all your old Game Boy games, like this is pretty much a must buy. This thing looks really, really nice.
Yeah, going back to what you're saying, the quality of the screen, it is 3.5 inches and 1600 by 1440.
That's insane.
10 times the resolution of the original Game Boy.
Right. So basically, it just means like it's going to be incredibly crisp picture, and it'll play Game Boy Advance games great. Everything's going to look really nice on it. I'm sure they're going to have some sort of like emulation flash cart that is released where you can load up ROMs if you don't like have these old games, but it's looking really nice. I think also they're releasing separately like a dock that you can slide the thing into.
Oh, nice.
And just actually play these on your TV with like an 8-bit
part.
DOE controller or something like that. So that's pretty cool. It
Comes out next year?
comes out sometime next year. They haven't said yet. It's
2020.
retailing for $200. But they just make fantastic hardware, and I'm really looking forward to this coming out. Yeah. So
Another company that makes handheld hardware is Game Vice. They make something for your phones that looks somewhat similar to a Switch Joy-Cons that attach to your phone so you can play games. And a long time ago, we haven't really talked about this on the podcast, they filed a patent complaint against Nintendo in the U.S. at the Trade Commission. And they finally came out with some findings that said they did not that Nintendo didn't violate any patents. So I guess that's a good thing for Nintendo. Also, have either of you guys ever like looked at these Game Vice things? They do look a lot like Joy-Cons.
yeah, I mean, it's kind of like that similar. There's a lot of stuff like
Yeah,
this where you
it
like
also
slide your
seems-
phone into a little clamshell thing. Yeah.
I don't know that I would ever play mobile games enough. Like, it just seems a weird market to me. People that are really into mobile games, do they need those? But whatever.
I think it's mainly people that are running like emulators
That
on their
makes sense.
Android phones or whatever. Yeah.
I don't know. The picture on Game Vice's website is they're playing Fortnite. Have you guys heard of Fortnite?
the hit
No.
game.
Yeah, I haven't heard of that. I've heard of Fortnite Chapter 2.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I heard, there's a whole black hole situation
Yeah.
at the end of season 1.
It's a sequel to It.
Also, Fortnite's kind of gone down in the charts, like the amount of money they're making. But that might
Yeah, they actually have to. They're putting in bots now on Fortnite.
they might they might bounce back with this whole season 2. Not
It looks
season,
cool
but-
to me. Yeah,
Anyway, Nintendo.
that's a fucking aside right there.
Nintendo, though, is doing very well, not just fighting off these patent lawsuits. They announced that they've sold over 15 million Switch units in North America. So again, the Switch has been out not quite 3 years, 2.5 about, and it's sold 15 million units, which is more than I think the Wii U sold ever in the
Yeah, the Wii U sold
North
14
America.
million globally.
So
Yeah.
that's they beat it in North America.
So last time we talked about how they'd sold 10 million in Europe, and
Right.
they were approaching 10 million in Japan.
Right, and the last full number they gave us was somewhere around 35. I
Yeah.
think,
So I'd imagine they're around 40 million now at this point, like counting other territories. So that's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
When do you think they'll hit 100?
Ooh, I don't know.
Do you think they'll hit 100 by next holiday season? Probably not.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
But I do think
We're not even in the holiday season now. We're already at 40.
I think they might hit
crazy.
100 before the end of the lifetime of the Switch. though.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe if they announce a Pro version next year.
Yeah.
That's true. Because I think one of the things probably bumping up some of those numbers is that Switch Lite, and then if they have another version that entices people to jump in. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
I'll buy one.
We've got. I almost fucking bought myself a Switch Lite.
I know. I want one.
I almost want a Switch V2 for no reason.
There's no reason, but I want one too.
Yeah. There was some like rumblings recently about a Pro model, but it was a little unfounded. It was basically because there's a new version of the NVIDIA Shield coming out called the NVIDIA Shield Pro So people were like, "Oh,
That
the chip."
means something.
They're like, "Oh, the chip in it is probably like from a pro model of a Switch because the NVIDIA
Yeah.
Shield uses the same X1, the Tegra X1 chip." But it's actually the version that's in the NVIDIA Shield Pro is the new chip that's in the Switch Lite and the V2 Switch.
Gotcha.
Right. So it's like, so it's not really anywhere on the horizon, but I mean, they'd be fools not to eventually do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get into a couple of controversial things. There was a big Overwatch launch event that was supposed to happen at the Nintendo New York store, and that got canceled. No official explanation, though everybody assumes it is because Blizzard is in a lot of hot water, and there's just a lot of attention on Blizzard right now about which we talked about last week, I believe, the Hearthstone Hong Kong controversy of them coming down on China's side there and kicking people, firing people, and banning people who are. And there's been a lot more pushback on this too. Surprisingly, I feel like the gaming community is really really like trying to force a boycott of Blizzard because of this.
Yeah.
BlizzCon is about to happen.
Yeah.
And I'm very interested to see what happens there.
Yeah, we're recording this on October 22nd, and it's November 3rd is when BlizzCon is.
Right,
so it's
right.
like a little more than a couple weeks.
Yeah,
away.
yeah. I don't think the Hong Kong protests are dying down anytime soon. So it's like,
unfortunately.
yeah. So it's like, it's definitely, this was like the absolute worst time for Overwatch to come out on the Switch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it was like, there has been no, like, Nintendo's been pushing the shit out of The Witcher. You know what I mean? Like The Witcher 3 coming out, like they've been advertising for it. And the sales numbers for
The Witcher are really high.
Yeah, in the UK, at least.
That's the only chart.
Yeah, those
right
have come in. It's like, I think third in the UK charts. And it's like, and that's for all video games. But yeah, it's like Nintendo's been very silent with Overwatch, and you'd think it would be something that they'd be pushing really, really hard. But I think they just want to distance themselves from this whole Winnie the Pooh situation. And so I think,
Bob.
and so, yeah, so it's very odd, but not surprising. I wonder what would have happened if they did do that Overwatch event at the Nintendo store.
I don't know.
Have you guys ever been to the Nintendo store?
No,
Yeah,
I really want to.
Yeah, it's great.
It's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool.
Yeah.
They have all those photo ops with like giant statues, like of a giant Donkey Kong. It's like
Yeah.
on the first floor.
Yeah. And then there's like a big pipe going up, and then
Yeah, when you walk up the stairs, the second floor.
yeah, you got to make a pilgrimage there, man.
Yeah.
Every time I go to New York, I go to Rockefeller Center.
Yeah, they have
I like brave
just
Rockefeller
for
Center
that,
just to
yeah.
go there.
They have
yeah.
a little like museum of Nintendo consoles. So they have like a robot. What's the robot's name?
Rob.
God
Robotic
damn, it's in the
operating
name.
Robe.
Robot. They have a little
Margot
museum of like Virtual Boy and some other stuff. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, for sure. They've got a really nice amiibo selection there also.
Nice.
That's cool. Also in Nintendo controversies this week, it was officially confirmed that the Tokyo Mirage Sessions Switch port is going to be based on the Western version of the Wii U game, which, as I understand it, has some censored / changes made to it compared to the Japanese Wii U version. And that's globally. That means that all the Tokyo Mirage Sessions for Switch will have those changes.
Right.
And I've read a little bit about this, actually a fair amount, just because I've wanted to wrap my head around it.
Yeah.
Some people seem really upset about this, and frankly, that's their right. I don't want to like judge people, but I also am kind of like, I don't know that I get it. You know what I mean? Like,
I think I get it.
yeah, well, let's talk about it because especially the age thing that, I mean, I'm not for censorship, but I'm also not, advocating for games that have, things that are super offensive just to be offensive or whatever. And I don't think that's the case here.
I don't think so necessarily.
But my understanding of the changes, just to I guess we'll kind of go over this, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but my understanding of the changes in this game is that a lot of the female characters' ages are knocked up a bit.
And that's fine, I think.
Yeah, that's the thing I'm kind of hinting at is like, I think
that's
that
just
might
a
even
number.
be better. And I mean, I know age of consent is different in different places, and I think in Japan it's lower. Though we're here in Texas, it's 17. So
Hell yeah.
But like in this game, there are characters who are 15, 16 or something like that in the Japanese original version that are sexualized in the game. And that's a little weird to me. And I'm, again, not for censorship, but I'm like changing that to be 18. Why
I think
not?
for a global release of the game, like that makes sense to like age up those characters a little bit. But that's just like a change in like a number. I think that where the people would get really upset is that like a lot of the character designs are changed. A lot of the costumes were changed.
Costume changes.
Yeah.
So
and there's even a whole kind of subplot where like one of the characters is like doing kind of sexy modeling and something like that. And the whole plot of the game is already very like idol fantasy.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it's just a little silly. It's like you already know what kind of game you're getting into.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think the reason that people are upset is because like we're in this kind of new age of Nintendo where there's all these like weird hentai dating sims like on the Switch at all times.
And they're not forcing those to be censored.
Yeah,
but
they're not forcing those to be censored at all.
Made by Nintendo.
Well, neither is
this.
I
think that's where this is getting, or published or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, or has Nintendo characters prominently featured in them.
Well, I know a lot of people at first thought that this was Atlas's decision to censor this.
Right.
But then someone at Atlas came out like in a tweet recently and was like, no, it was Nintendo that like told us to base it off this. And I think though it might not even be a content decision on their part. I think they might just be basing it off of the fact that the international version sold more than the Japanese version did. You know what I mean? So it's like, they're just going to be, you know, the number crunchers are going to be like, well, let's just base the port off of the international port.
I've looked at these pictures of the changes, and to me, they're not that big of a deal. Like, but again, you know, I'm not planning on playing it either way. And if you are, and you're upset about this, and write us and explain it better to me, because I kind of look at these. Basically, it's like every image where a woman had like a low cut top. Now they have that low cut top, but a shirt underneath it.
Right.
It's kind of
or like there's a
like
boss that has like clouds around her like crotch and chest. So
so
I guess there's just clouds. People hate clouds, man.
Is there an atmosphere for to let those clouds form?
It's just
I have many questions.
Very sweaty up there.
But interestingly too, like Nintendo apologized about this
in Japan, right?
In Japan, and said, "Hey, if you've pre-ordered the game and this isn't what you wanted, we'll refund your money." So that's just weird. It's a weird situation all around, partly because it's just a little bit outside my wheelhouse. You know what I mean? And people seem so upset about it, and I'm looking at this and like, I don't know.
Yeah, maybe it's like weird to us, like the American Western audience, but like in Europe, maybe it's more acceptable. Like,
I mean, I don't think that nudity should be censored. Especially in America, we don't censor violence, but we censor nudity. That's fucked up, right? Yeah. Like, but I just look at some of these changes and I'm like, I don't get it.
Yeah, no. I mean, you're not wrong. It's like you can play the game and it'll still be the same gameplay experience for the most part, except for that one mission, right? Which has more story consequences than anything else,
right? And I even read about that, and that didn't strike me as super big deal either. But again.
To me, I think the reason that people are upset is because of like the precedent that it sets with censorship, and it's like it just seems like a little bit of like a reversal of kind of where they've been going recently. So I understand the concern. I don't quite understand like the outrage.
Yeah, that's it, right?
Or like the boycotts.
So, moving on then, in Japan, Evo Japan 2020, they announced that Smash Ultimate will be the headlining game at that event. So that just, again, reinforces how big that game is in the fighting game community right now.
Not surprising. It like blew away records this last Evo, right?
Evo in US,
yeah. I could see them wanting to do that again.
So that's cool. If you've been following Smash leaks for the 5th DLC and or future DLC characters at all, you know this has been a bit of a roller coaster week. There's been a lot. I think once Nintendo announced that there's going to be more beyond the Fighters Pass, that just stirred everybody up into creating fake leaks. Because now anything could happen and we could get multiple characters.
Yeah.
And so there's been a lot of rumors recently about Crash Bandicoot being the 5th DLC character, Ryu Hayabusa, who was already kind of talked about, but there's been continued rumblings about that. And then Sabi or somebody had a leaker that said, no, neither of those are the 5th person, but no other information.
Right. But it was the same source that had told them that what's his name? Terry was going to be Fighter 4. So there's definitely some credibility to it. It's just like, basically this news is like,
There's no
we don't
news
know who
here.
the next fighter is going to be.
But it's just interesting because there's been a lot of talk about these characters, and I feel like, and also Gino has been getting kind of talked about a lot as in fake leaks as well as some semi-legitimate ones.
I think Gino will be coming after this season pass.
I really hope we get Crash Bandicoot too. That would be freaking awesome to have a fight with Mario, Sonic, and Crash all in one.
Yeah, the big three of the old days.
Yeah, that'd be insane.
And Master Chief.
And Lara Croft.
Yeah. Where the hell is Lara Croft?
That's
my question.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a good question.
Where the fuck is she?
Where is
she got censored.
I also like, where are the female? Like, I really was thinking there would be at least one female character in this Fighters Fast, but we'll see. And then Nintendo announced that there's a new Tetris Maximus Cup, and I don't have the dates, but I believe it's October 24th or so.
Yeah, I think it's this weekend, right?
Yeah, that would be this weekend.
Yeah,
24th through the 27th or something like that.
Going to our resident Tetris 99 expert, David.
So I'm excited about this because I'm excited to unlock a new theme because I've played Tetris 99 so much that I've unlocked all the themes.
Oh, wow.
I actually
and do you have all the limited time event ones too?
I have all the limited time event ones, and I unlocked using like the tickets or whatever that you get by playing every day. I unlocked like everything there is to get. So I'm kind of actually in a little bit of a Tetris 99 lull right now because like my impetus to like keep playing the game is kind of
you don't
slow.
have that carrot on the end of the stick.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, you can always keep playing for like badges and whatever, but those are a lot harder to get, and a lot of them are kind of a grind. But yeah, it's a Luigi's Mansion 3. Luigi's Mansion 3 theme. Gooigi is all over this motherfucker. I saw a video of it.
I haven't seen that yet.
Yeah, well, it just like showed some of the gameplay, and the song is awesome, and it's very moody and spooky. It's a great partner to the already existing spooky Halloween theme that exists in Tetris 99 currently. So when you're playing Tetris 99 this Halloween season, just kind of go back and forth between the two, baby. That's what I'm talking about.
Platinum Games on Twitter like teased that they might be working on an Okami sequel. Did y'all read this or see this video that they posted?
Well, that was Hideki Kamiya, right?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was like in a photo, and it was like him smiling, and then the person that he was talking with kind of like looking like they wanted to leave the photo.
She did look like she wanted to leave. It was like a short video. Yeah.
Okay, that's what it was.
And she does leave, I think.
Yeah, she's like, I don't want any part of this.
But they tweeted something about, do you want, Okami is going to be back. We want to make a sequel. And you want to see it again, right? That was essentially the tweet. And so, I don't know what that means. I guess that means they're working on it.
I think I feel like it's Kamiya like putting pressure on, like public pressure on.
Gotcha. Like, see how many people are retweeting this?
Yeah,
and
exactly.
We should do it.
Yeah, because it was a Cloverfield Studios game.
I believe so.
And then they shut down, and then Capcom owns the IP.
Right.
That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah. And it would be like a platinum game
Capcom.
as of now. Yeah. And so I think it's like, hey, I think it's kind of like this happens a lot with Hollywood actors where they're like, they really want to roll. So they'll like put out some like
MCU.
leaks about how yeah, exactly. And then all the fans are like, oh yeah, I really want to see X in this movie. You know what I mean? And I think he's kind of playing the social media circuit right now.
It's like when Ed Sheeran was in Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Exactly like that. And then there was an announcement for Pokemon Sword and Shield about some of the previous Pokemon that are coming into this game. And last time I looked, there was 250 or so previous Pokemon confirmed returning for this.
And you counted those all by hand.
I did. I went through and read the Nintendo Soup breakdown that said it had 250.
By hand.
By hand. So yeah, Nintendo Soup is a good place to go if you want more information about this. They kind of have it broken down by generation and all the names. And so if you were worried about which, of your favorite Pokemon would or wouldn't be in the games, I don't know that this is a definitive list, and it means that
and
there
here
won't
we
be
go.
others.
Number 1, Charmander. Number 2, Charmeleon. Number 3,
Is there an actual like
Charizard.
whole list?
Yes, there is.
Wow.
And Matt will now continue reading.
Number 4, Caterpie. Number 5, Metapod.
Okay. So
Number 6, Butterfree.
Keep going. Oh wait, I'll pick it up from here. Popcorn, Pikachu, Gigamax Pikachu, or Gigantamax.
So
we didn't talk about that. They have Gigantamaxing Pokemon.
Oh yeah,
now.
we should have talked about that.
Yeah.
Right? They showed the like super long Meowth. What's the name of that?
Yeah, Meowth.
Pokemon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a long boy.
It's like a long cat. It's basically like the long cat.
Long
meme.
cat.
Yeah, you remember that meme?
I do.
It's an old one.
Yeah, because there's Dynamaxing, which is big, but then Gigantamaxing.
Which we knew about, but they showed some models for it, right? Or they showed
No,
like,
it was leaked.
oh, it was
It was like there was like one of the, on 4chan like a while ago.
We
It was
just-
like there's also going to be Gigantamaxing.
okay, yeah, I
Yeah,
thought we
yeah,
saw
and it
like
was
the
just
giant
confirmed.
cake or whatever. I don't know.
No,
be
that
honest with
was a
you.
Dynamaxed cake.
It's interesting. It's interesting.
Yeah, Pikachu in Gigantamax is like a real big chubs.
Yeah, he's like
fat.
the original render for Pikachu, like how he was kind of a tubby motherfucker. And now they like brought it back for the Gigantamax, which is kind of cute. That's a really nice thing that they did that. I think that's great.
But I think we're gonna take a real quick break and then talk about the most important thing that Game Freak has done, rather than just
9, Clefairy. 10, Clefable. 11, Vulpix.
which is Little Town Hero. We'll be right back.
Okay, we're back.
And yeah, we kind of talked about this at the top of the episode, but we're here to talk about what was once referred to as Town Working Title
Town working title, that's correct.
and is now known as Little Town Hero. Announced in February of this year, came out radio silence until September, and then came out just the other week. And we've all had a chance to dive into Little Town Hero. And
I got my passport, got my citizenship to Little Town Hero, ready to go.
and we're ready to talk about our experience with it.
So Matt, I feel like ever since I've known you, ever since you were a little boy, you've told me just how excited you are for Town. You know, I'm just for the record, I will probably refer to this game as Town
let's
throughout
talk
the
about-
entirety of
Do
this
you think
episode.
Town would have been a better name?
I think Town would have been a way better name than Little Town Hero.
Little Town Hero.
So let's
I
fucking just
agree.
call it Town.
Okay, let's just call it Town.
So ever since I've known you, ever since you were a little lad,
Just a little Matt Stoner, little Stone Bone.
you've been excited for this game, and
yes.
you pre-ordered the game,
Yes.
and you've put more time into it than probably
Us.
anyone else on
yeah,
earth.
probably anyone.
And I gotta say, tell me right now, does it live up to your expectations?
No.
Oh, folks, we're gonna do a whole episode on this.
God, okay.
So yeah,
So basically, Town is a really, really good game. And I don't know. Let's just drop that.
We've talked about this game for a whole year, as we said at the top of the episode. We don't want to just like poo on the game.
okay. So what's
Games
good?
are made by a team of people, right? That put their blood, sweat, and tears into game development. You know, it takes years of your life. This is clearly made with a lot of love, but it's not good.
They should be ashamed.
So let's just do a quick history of the project, right?
What do we know about like when they started working on this? Do we know that even? I'm gonna try to figure that out.
I don't think we do. You're looking at me like I should know the entire history of Town.
I'm interested since
Because
you were
I've said
born.
This
the
episode's
same.
gonna be real loose.
Well, how about this? What is good about the game? I mean, I think the graphics, like, initially look okay. Like it seems okay. When it sucks once you see like the same NPCs over and over,
Yeah.
or like you go to the mine in the very first tutorial and it's like the three of the same dudes staring at you.
Yeah.
I don't think the graphics are good.
No, just the cell shaded look is okay. I guess
It's
is what I'm
clean.
saying. Yeah.
It's clean, but I think that this, I've got a few games that I think this about, Link's Awakening being one of them, but I think that this was originally a 3DS game. The graphics look like 3DS graphics to me. Like, you know, whenever you run Pokemon Sun and Moon in an emulator and it kind of up-reses the graphics.
Yeah.
It kind of looks like that to me, right? Like it's clearly made in the same engine.
That makes sense. I
as
could see that.
Pokemon.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I could see
so
that.
For me, I feel like this is like a 3DS game. It's got colors that pop. You know what I mean? It's a very colorful game. I'll give it that. But like, I've just gotten so used to games where characters like emote when they speak.
Yeah.
There's like a scene early on in the game where your mom is like really mad at you and she's like screaming at you, but her face is just like really chill.
The character animations definitely are repetitive and leave something to be desired.
Yeah.
I feel like there's also just shit ton of dialogue at the beginning that is terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like-
the whole tutorial at the beginning is really it's a sludge.
It is.
There was some like surprisingly adult themes in it as well. Like they talk about butts a lot. There's like a bar, and the dude's like, "I'm too drunk to teach you right now."
Yeah, that was kind of weird.
Yeah, I wanted to take a video of that. 'Cause that was my favorite part.
I took a photo.
Yeah, because the whole story of town is you're trying to escape this town, and you meet this knight from the castle. And
You can't leave the town.
can't leave the town,
But the only way through the town is the castle, and you meet this knight when you're trying to sneak out.
and then you meet him again in the bar, and he's trying to like teach you how to fight, like tell you stories and stuff. And then he interrupts with,
I'm too drunk to do this right now.
"Yeah, I'm too drunk."
That also reminds me, this game has got a lot of like puns in it.
Yeah.
And almost like before you even understand the pun, that minor pun, I didn't get it. Like,
I got it.
I got it, but I was like, wait, I didn't realize he was a minor because that maybe was mentioned, but
He is a kid. He like lives with his mom.
Yeah, but like MINER, so like
Right.
So like when he's gonna go in the bar after this night, one of the other kids is like, you can't go in there, minors aren't allowed, and he's like, well, I am a minor, MINER.
So I just watched Galaxy Quest the other day, and they just like stole a joke from Galaxy Quest. Like there's like a scene in the movie where they like see these aliens and they're like working in a mine and they all look like children. Just totally stole that.
It's just bad puns are in this game, and
And I like puns.
I do. I will say I do like this soldier fellow, this character.
You trust him.
No, I don't trust him. No, he's a drunk. But I like that he is completely jaded. Like this dude at the very beginning of the game, like he's like, oh yeah, I basically just like tell them that I'm fighting monsters because it makes them not like watch over me all the time.
And
And then monsters actually exist.
I'll
and
train
have to
you
fight
random kids,
them. Yeah,
no problem.
yeah. Well, you're doing him a favor. Let's get more into the lore.
Well, so like it just wasn't very. I mean, sort of cookie cutter kid in a town wants to go on an adventure, right? But some games can pull that off.
So all this cookie cutter like RPG story would make sense if the game play fit that, right? Like the game sets itself up to be just kind of like a standard RPG, but then like the battle system, which is something that we were confused about for a long time whenever we would see like screenshots. Every
it'd be
time
like
there was a screenshot of
ideas.
town, we would tear it apart morsel by morsel, trying to figure out what was going on. I didn't understand how the game worked until I was playing it.
Right.
Yeah.
And we like really tried to figure it out beforehand. The battle system is so difficult to understand. Essentially, town is like a card-based game.
Yeah.
Kind
It's
of like
like
a board game in a way too, right?
Yeah,
Like,
Yeah, and
you
like
ever-
a kind of a Mario Party-esque
Like
thing.
played Magic the Gathering and the rules of creatures attacking each other, like 2/2 versus a 3/2,
Right.
And how trample works. All of that is very similar to Magic the Gathering. That's the
Right.
feelings that I got.
For sure.
But
or something like Slay the Spire, right?
But it
Yeah.
sets itself up like this really easy, simple game.
yeah.
Or you know what I mean? It has that aesthetic to it. And so I tried to play this when I was like my son, I was there and I was like, oh, you can sit here and we can like play this together. And the tutorial is happening and he's like, this is boring. And I'm like, I agree.
Fuck
but
yeah.
also like, there's no way I'm going to be able to understand how to play this game unless I pay attention to this tutorial, you know,
Yeah.
'cause this shit is confusing.
Yeah.
So I just had to burn through it. And then, you know what? He loves games where we can just wander around and explore a town. So I was like, oh, this will be great. But at the beginning of the game, you're railroaded. So I was like, you know, I'll do this training part later. We'll just go walk over here and,
You
explore
can't.
the town. And it's like,
Yeah.
no, you can't. And it's like, okay, well, just let me get through this and then we'll explore the town. Nope. It made me fast travel to the mine. And it's like, we'll just leave the mine and come back. No, I can't. It's like, just let me fucking do something, game.
Yeah.
The tutorial was really
Do you
brutal.
guys remember the 90s when Garth Brooks became Chris Gaines?
I do.
Do you remember that? So we have like a Game Freak who created Pokemon who like tries to create a new game. What I'm trying to say is Town is Chris Gaines.
It's the Chris Gaines of games. It's Chris Games.
Yeah, it's Chris Gaines. That's my one Garth Brooks reference for the entire year.
There has to be one an episode. Basically, so just to kind of let's just kind of talk through the battle system, right?
Yeah.
Like, so essentially, the first thing that happens is there are ideas, right? And these ideas that come out are called is-its. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. It's not confusing at all. There's is-its and dizzits.
Is-its and dazits.
Dazits.
Right? I think so. Yeah.
That you're looking at me. I'm not the town expert. Just because I made the joke.
You dug this hole. You were gonna fucking fill it up with dirt.
All right. Yeah.
All right.
Is-its and dazits.
Is-its and dazits, right? So it's basically as you can spend energy to turn your is-its into dazits. Some dazits will stick around after your turn until you like run out of energy on them or whatever. But then other ones will be used up like as you go, right? So there's already that kind of complication. And then on top of that, the enemy that you're fighting will have their own dazits that like pop up around them. And then you have to fight dazit v dazit before you can even damage them, right? So there's instances in which you can be fighting where you're just canceling out each other's dazits for like a half hour. You know what I mean? Because there's no speed up of animations or anything like that. It plays through every single thing. And then it's like, you have to clear all of their dazits before you can even attack their body, right? And so, but then the totally befuddling thing is that all of this is left up to chance, right? Like it's like total RNG. Like you have no idea what you're going to get. That's why it's like a card-based game where you're like drawing random stuff. But there's no reason other than they're just random ideas that pop into your head.
Yeah, because you're saying like in a traditional card game, you would at least have a deck.
Right.
That you know the cards that are in the deck.
Right.
That the random number chooses from that number 50 cards or whatever. So you have an idea of the cards that you could get. But in town, you just, I guess I get this, is it? That's like a slash or like a strong slap.
Or it can be a defense as well. Like an is-it is anything. It's like any of your moves.
Is
it? It is.
If your eyes are glazing over as David explained to the system, so
That's how we felt playing the tutorial.
And that's how I felt playing the tutorial. I was like, I am not going to be able to retain this. I don't know that I want to play a game that's this complicated and isn't also engaging me. You know what I mean? And so I pretty much stopped.
Yeah, it was hard. This entire while I'm playing this game, there's so much hope. I have so much hope because Game Freak has given me so many memories of like great quality games, playing Pokemon and being on a bus in high school and exchanging a Squirtle for a Pikachu. I'm like, come on,
That's a bad trade.
yeah. I know, dude. Don't judge me. But I'm like, come on, there's gotta be something good.
Right.
And I'm like playing like half an hour, 45 minutes, 60 minutes.
And I think that fundamentally the gameplay could
have
be
worked,
saved. Like I think that they could patch this game to make it much more playable than it is, right? It's like if there was some sort of streamline to how you picked your moves instead of it just being completely random, I think that would be great. And I think if they sped up battle animations and like made the fights go a little faster, like there is no world in which I ever want to be in a battle for an hour.
Yeah.
Like there's no game I ever want to play where
Unless that's the
1
final
hour.
boss, and you know, and even then, an hour is still pretty long.
Yeah. Like I had like half-hour battles in the tutorial. I was like, what the fuck is going on? And then everybody says the saving grace is the music. I don't even like the music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the music.
You like the music?
It was fine. It didn't like make me want to go search it out on YouTube, but it was decent.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I guess.
I guess.
I guess in contrast to everything else, it stands out.
I hate this game.
I kind of do too.
I think, yeah, I kind of hate this game.
They're like whenever we do an episode based on a game, you know, I try to give it a real go at least. And most of the time I'm excited to. And even this time I was. But like, I think I played this the least of any game that we've talked about. Like, just because I was like, you know what? I'll come back to it. I will force myself to come back to it. But I couldn't. I couldn't force myself
I
to come
kept
back
turning
to
it on and then shutting it off. Yeah, before I would be able to save. So I didn't make any progress. You played it for 3 hours, man.
I did. Yeah. And, gosh.
So did you beat the first monster at least?
I got through the mine. Did you guys get that far?
Yeah.
So
You did not play for 3 hours.
I guess not.
So the mine, like even that, like you have to, when you go to the mine, you had to talk to all the NPCs to get information to answer these rules of mining so that you can continue. Like even that was like hard. you had to talk to I talked to all the NPCs and I'm like, what? This
Yeah.
isn't working.
And they all look exactly the same.
And I had to go back and talk to one a second time to get a piece of information. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah. Can we talk about the run animation real quick?
Sure.
So whenever you like start moving in this game, your body just like slides on the ground before you start running. It's really, really fucking odd. It's like the simplest thing in a game is like making like movement.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And it's like even that felt like this game just feels like it was rushed.
That's absolutely
and
gotta
has
be the case.
no polish, but like it's been in development for a long time. You know what I mean? And I just don't really understand. And I think like the only way I can wrap my head around it is that this is like a B team game from Game Freak.
And
right?
they didn't want to delay it.
I guess so.
Because
yeah.
then, you know,
I think
when-
they just must have had a very small team.
In February, they announced 2019, and we didn't hear anything about it. And it was September, and we're like, dude, this game must be delayed. And I wish they had delayed it, though I don't know that they would have done a lot better.
Yeah.
You know, so I think that they're just like, no, we got to get it out for whatever reason, business reason.
It makes me miss Pokemon. You know what I mean? Because as I'm playing it, it's like, because like you play Pokemon games and you're like, oh man, they should really like kind of revamp like the kind of battle system in this game and blah 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 blah. But like then you play something like this where like they try something different. And you're like,
trust
oh,
Game
just
Freak
go ahead
to
and
do
stick
it,
with
yeah.
what you're good at. You know what I mean?
Well, I've never been a big Pokemon person. I've just kind of missed it, and this makes me not want to play Pokemon Sword and Shield.
Well, this
you know what I
Pokemon
mean?
Sword and Shield is actually looking pretty fucking good.
Okay, good.
Honestly.
It does look pretty
This
good.
game
Yeah.
was bad.
Yeah.
And it just didn't inspire a lot of faith for me.
What else can we shit on about
Man,
this?
I just have so many questions of like, so how did this game initially get started? Like, what was the pitch? It's like, you know, we've been working on Pokemon for so long and we have this idea for a new game and it's a card-based battle and there's going to be shitty walking animation. And,
That's a good pitch.
And
Yeah.
then like, how long did they work like on the game for how many years and why did it turn out so bad?
Yeah.
I just want to fix it, David.
I would love to fix it. I think that we should hack our Switches and make mods for this game where you can play as Bowsette.
There will be 3 downloads, and the 3 downloads are us.
I'm looking through like an interview that somebody that made the game did kind of shortly around the time it came out, and one of the things he's kind of emphasizing is that he wanted to make a more challenging / short RPG.
That's something that's going for the game is that it's like only like a 10 to 15 hour game.
Yeah. And
As long as you get good RNG.
Yeah, good luck actually getting that far because you'll want to give up.
Yeah.
Likely.
I mean, some people like this game.
That's true. I did read a review.
Yeah.
Because like the first review I saw was you shared this, the Game Explain review.
Yeah.
Which was awful.
It was their first ever hated it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they explored all the things we were saying and even more because they forced themselves to beat the game. And they said that some of those battles took, like you said, like an hour or something at the end of the game. But then I read some other review where they're like, it's a decent middle of the road RPG. I'm like, no, that's not my experience.
Yeah. I mean, it's just not for me, but it's like I was saying, like there is something in the battle mechanics. Like I don't hate it. And I think the reason that it doesn't work in this game, but it does in something like Slay the Spire, is that Slay the Spire, when you lose a game or like lose a battle and you die due to chance, you start back over. And like, it's the nature of the game is that it's a roguelike and that like you will be dying a lot and like you're trying to get better at the mechanics of the game. But in this, when you lose a battle, sometimes it's not your fault and you just have to play that exact battle
And if
over
you
and
spent
over and over
30
again.
minutes in a battle and then you have to start it again,
Right.
It's rage-inducing.
Yeah. And I've been hearing reports of people that spent like an hour like fighting a battle and then they lost and then they go back and play that battle again and beat it in 15 minutes. And that's just like
that's
a
not
slap
skill.
in the face.
Yeah, that's like you didn't make a challenging RPG. You made a random one.
Yeah.
Right.
So if they had fixed up some of the framing mechanisms of these battles and like made it to where like there was more progression even when you failed, I think it would like encourage people to play more. Right. But as it stands, it's just kind of a game that kind of beats you down, right? And in such a fast-paced ADD world that we live in right now, ain't nobody got time for that.
And the kernel of the story too, like the idea of a town where nobody can leave and it's not clear why. That's interesting, but it wasn't in this. You know what I mean? Like, it's like if they had just delayed this and maybe worked out some of these. Clearly, they, because of the run animation, the like reusing the NPCs, it just feels rushed.
Yeah.
It's too bad.
I just don't see how that's possible. The game was rushed.
Is there any scope? Is there anything else to say about Little Town Hero / Town? Your heart hurts?
My heart hurts.
I think this teaches us to be careful about what we want to do bits on. You know what I mean? Like maybe in the future we do bits on games that show a little bit more promise.
Just like you shouldn't pre-order a game you don't know much about. You shouldn't do bits about a game. You don't
I will say we all played Matt's copy of this game and kind of passed it around. And I want to say thanks for taking one for the team.
You're welcome.
And purchasing this game for the bit.
Yes, indeed. Thank you, Matt.
And thank you for listening to this podcast. We're now at the 45-minute mark. And you've just been listening to a shit on a game that you know is bad. So, I think this is a good season finale.
Thank you for listening.
Maybe we can wrap this up with how important it is to restrain your hype.
Yeah.
Temper expectations. You know what I mean? Because we were all hyped for Town. I was hyped for Town. I thought Town looked delightful.
Think about the context of things too, right? Like maybe there's a reason we didn't hear much about this game for 7 months or whatever. And maybe like people are all critical of Game Freak for not having great animations and not having great graphics and repetitive battle mechanics.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, maybe we shouldn't be so surprised that this was so
But
bad.
dude, Pokemon Sword and Shield's going to be so good. All right, yeah, we should probably move on. All right. Let's pour one out for Town.
Yeah.
All right.
There it is.
All right, we're moving on to the next segment.
Yeah, so other than Little Town Hero, which we all know we've been playing for minutes.
60 whole minutes.
What games have we been playing this week? Who wants to go first?
I'll go first. I have been playing a lot of games. I've been putting a lot more time into Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair. That game is fucking fantastic. I really love that game. Yeah.
Man,
I mean, I'm a big DKC fan, Donkey Kong Country. You'll love this game. You should play it for sure. It's made by a bunch of the old Rare developers. And I know I talked about this last episode, but I've gotten a lot further into it.
What's the difficulty like? Is it kind of Donkey Kong Country?
It's very similar to Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, both in style and difficulty.
I like
where
that.
it's like Tropical Freeze, like later on in the game, it's like hard. Really hard, but like all the levels are beatable. Where the real challenge lies in Tropical Freeze is like collecting everything and 100%ing it, right?
And I did it because I loved that.
Yeah,
game.
so you will love Yooka-Laylee then, because it's like they do a really good job of hiding all these little things. I think maybe even better than Retro did with Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, because you can just feel the like OG Donkey Kong Country guys working on this, because like the way that they hid secrets in those original Super Nintendo games, it just feels like how they did it in this game, right? And then there's also a really cool mechanic where like every level that you play has an alternate version of the level. And I know that kind of sounds like a little eye-rolly and like you're going to be backtracking a lot. But it really changes the level completely. You know what I mean? Like you'll do something on the overworld, like you'll flood the book that you go into with water, and now all of a sudden the level is completely covered in water. It's a swimming level now.
That's kind of cool.
You know what I mean? Or like it's a minecart level or something kind of like that.
Do they have minecart levels?
They're not minecarts, but it's similar, like on rails sort of levels.
Really?
You
Do
know
they have
what I
like a rocket levels too?
No. But there is a lot of stuff that's blatantly taken from Tropical Freeze, not just the original games, but like from Tropical Freeze in particular. But I've been really enjoying that. And then, in addition to that, I'll say real quickly, I've been going back and playing some of those original Castlevania games. I got into a bit of a Castlevania lore YouTube rabbit hole recently, and started playing Dracula's Curse again. And man, that game is just so fucking fun. Can't play without save states, but it is fun. And then the main game that I've been putting most of my time into this past week has been Killer Queen Black. Ooh. And I know we've talked about this game a lot on this podcast before it came out.
Can we play it after we record this?
I would love to. Yeah. But Killer Queen Black is everything that I hoped it would be. If you're familiar at all with Killer Queen, it's kind of like a joust-like multiplayer arcade game. They've just released it for home consoles. Finally, I feel like after 18 months of development or something like that, and it plays so well. And what I'm really most impressed with is the net code.
I was about to ask how this
and the net play. It's like so the game. If you've played the arcade game, you know it's fun, right? But like I had my friend Rob over the other day, and I introduced the game to him, and we just played it for like 3 hours online. And basically, you can have up to 4 people on one system, and up to 4 people can all go into online lobbies together, which is something that we wish that Smash could do.
Yeah. So like you and your friend Rob would match with 2 other random people.
Yeah, or me and my friend Rob on my system can hook up with AVK, who I've been playing with as well online. And he could have 2 people on his Switch, or one person on his Switch, and another one of our friends. We can all join a party and then go play against 4 other people online, right? So it's a great like team building game, both for local play and just if your friends don't live near you and you're online. And it's just like such a seamless online experience that works really, really well. It's got integrated voice chat into the game with push to talk. If you like have some headphones plugged into the Switch with a microphone, it just plays really well. I haven't noticed any lag since I've been playing, and I've played a lot of matches. If enough people get this game and buy this game, this could be like the big multiplayer hit, like on the eShop, really. Like it's a fucking blast. And I really implore all of you listening to this right now to go get this game, because it's so much fun, and it's only made more fun with other people. Let's play after this.
Yeah, let's do it. I guess I'll go next.
Yeah.
I play in town a little bit. Man, what a slug.
Yeah. It's a shame. You've been moving, right? So you've had a lot of time to play.
So I haven't been playing too much, but picked up Smash. Mm-hmm. I've been replaying Smash and trying to figure out which character I want to main, because I usually main Palutena. Mm-hmm. But I've been playing more Bowser Jr., which is my original main.
I love Bowser Jr.
I like Bowser Jr. too.
He's such a fun character.
Yeah. It's super fun to play as. And lately I woke up last week and I thought, this is my exact thought. I was like, I wonder when we're going to get a new Legacy of Kain game.
So
I don't know.
Legacy of Kain?
No, I haven't been playing it, but I have been looking at some of the lore of Legacy of Kain.
Yeah.
And like
Soul Reaver?
Dude, I fucking love Soul Reaver.
Yeah.
Because I had it on the Dreamcast.
Yeah.
And playing as Raziel, just sent me to a nostalgia
trip. It's a cool
trip.
character.
Dude, you can suck souls, bro.
Yeah.
I always wanted to suck a soul. And just been thinking.
Clip that. I was wanting to suck a soul.
And I just been thinking about Legacy of Kain a lot, and it seems weird because it's a franchise that's been dormant for a really long time.
I wonder if modern gamers remember that series.
Probably not.
You know what I mean? I wonder if it would do. Although you know what, that sounds like a great THQ Nordic game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Square owns it because it was Eidos,
right?
And Square bought. Square Enix bought Eidos.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Maybe we'll see some rights move around.
That's what I've been thinking about. Patrick, what have you been playing?
Largely been playing Smash Ultimate. I'm just obsessed with playing online, quick play, and trying to get better.
Yeah.
Are you still playing Ken?
No, I am mostly a Piranha Plant main right now.
Nice.
Though I am also working on trying to make Sonic and or Pac-Man my secondaries. Though I'm not very good with them yet, but I've been playing a lot with them. I just am watching videos and trying to get better because I'm really into it, and I've been improving quite a bit actually.
That's good.
And it's just that adrenaline rush of playing online is my thing. So I'm gonna have to check out Killer Queen.
Oh yeah, I really want both of you guys to buy that game.
I really like competitive games like that. You know what I mean? Like I can get into it, and also you can just play one really fast. So I've been doing a lot of that.
Yeah,
been playing some Mario Maker as well. And then my wife and I fired up Super Mario Party. For the first time, I owned it already, but we'd never played it.
Oh, really?
And I'd just been sitting on it. And then we were looking for something to do one night. And she's like, do you have any? Like, she does not play video games. And she's terrible at video games. She's like, but maybe, is there a video game we could play or something? Just one night. I was like, well, no, actually, there's one I've been sitting on that might be perfect. And we played for like an hour or whatever. Played one, board, one match, whatever. Had a lot of fun. So
it's pretty fun.
I'm sure it will get wrote as it here from whatever. But the first game went well. She won. I mean, it's random, but she also,
at the end it just awards you like bullshit stars.
Right. But she won the most mini games, and what I mean. She kind of deserved to win.
Right. I wasn't trying to say that she didn't deserve
but
to
you're
win.
right.
Damn, dude.
No, but it's totally arbitrary. You're right.
Yeah.
I mean, and the game just gives and takes away stars randomly or whatever.
Right.
But like it was kind of funny because the way it worked out. But anyway, so that was a lot of fun. So I'm sure we'll do that again.
Hell yeah.
Maybe that'll get her better at some of the small things.
Man.
I feel like small improvement of playing some of those mini games. Maybe, she'll never be a gamer.
Man, every time you guys say that you're playing Smash, I just remember that I just don't really play Smash anymore. I don't wonder what the deal is.
Yeah.
I used to love Smash. I still love it.
You're a Tetris man now.
I guess I'm just a Tetris man now.
Well, obviously we'll play Killer Queen Black today, but we should play Smash after sometime.
Yeah, we absolutely should. And now that you're better.
Yeah, no, I am. I actually feel like I don't know. I don't know if I can beat y'all, but I might. Maybe.
You could probably, yeah.
Game on, dude.
We should all play Piranha Plant and see what happens.
Well, then I might beat you.
All right. Well, I think that's the show.
That's the show.
That feels
The
pretty
end
good.
of season 1.
The end of season 1. Thank you so much for sticking around for this whole season. Raise your hand if you've been listening since episode 1.
Yeah.
We see you.
We see you. Thank you, Clint. Thank you, Karen.
Thank you, Josh.
Yeah, thank you, Josh.
And thank you, Corduroy, for doing our music.
Yeah,
that's a legit one.
And also, we'll be off next week.
This will be our first week off. Yeah.
We'll be thinking about you.
Yeah. Hopefully we should have kind of a filler thing, pre-recorded thing that we have for next week, as long as I didn't lose the file. We recorded that a while ago, so we'll see if it ages well. But if not, we'll be back after Halloween with our review of Luigi's Mansion 3. So
hopefully a little better than Little Town Hero.
I think that we'll probably collectively play a little bit more Luigi's Mansion than we played.
I think I will too.
Yeah.
I was excited to learn that in Luigi's Mansion 3 you can pet the dog.
Yeah, I just learned that today.
The ghost dog.
Yeah. Real quick, do you guys have your Halloween costumes already?
Yes.
I don't have a Halloween costume.
I don't want to spoil anything, but are you excited about your costume?
Yeah, you can. I'm reusing my Squirtle costume.
Oh, okay, very good.
But we are adding one thing, and we're adding headbands.
Oh,
and
nice.
We are Teenage Mutant Ninja
Squirtles. I love it. Well, I hope everybody has a very good Halloween, and thank you so much for listening to the podcast. We're going to be back with season 2. Coming up pretty soon. This is completely arbitrary. I think this is James West's idea that we end with town. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening to the podcast. Where can we find everybody real quick?
I am PDYX, most places online.
I'm Twitter, Matthew, MATHYO.
And I'm Twitter as well. No, I'm Monolith Fiji everywhere on the internet. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening to the show. You can catch us at Super Switch Headz on Facebook and Instagram, at Switch Headz on Twitter. We love you guys so much. We'll see you next week. Maybe. Bye-bye.